been with the organization for a good length of time. And one of the first things we started trying to do was to build a legal services program, bring lawyers in-house. And, it took some time, but that's something that we're very proud of, because, there aren't many people that have a $15,000 nest egg to lay down as a deposit for an attorney to help them get a divorce that is much needed. So a lot of our clients, people that come to us for help, they don't have that kind of money, and they would find themselves, continually linked into a violent relationship because they didn't have the means to get out. So that's something that we're very, very proud of, I guess you would say. In part of the strategic plan of the Making Violence Prevention Group, we know that domestic violence is significant in a great deal of the crime that we have seen in our community. A significant portion of the homicides were related to domestic violence, and so we know that that is something that we have to address in this community. And we were thrilled that the Sheriff's Department was so willing to sort of partner with us in looking at some of the issues that we have together. And so with our grant, we are providing some training modules for deputies to better educate them and help them have a deeper foundation and a deeper understanding, enhanced understanding, if you will, of the dynamics of domestic violence and some of the nuances. Because if you don't really understand how intricate domestic violence is, and you don't understand that it's not only about the hitting and the physical abuse, but it is about the control, the manipulation. There's so much more. And so we are building training modules for our deputies, and the sheriff has committed to all of his deputies, participating in the training modules, reviewing them, knowing. So I think we are building a workforce within the Sheriff's Department that is better educated on domestic violence and how to recognize it when they respond. Well, I think if you think about temporary protective orders, and if they're put in place, that is preventing future violence. If you've separated the parties, you've got the protective order in place where he or whoever the abuser is, he or she, because we know that it goes both ways, can't have contact, that's preventing that violence. And then so many of our homicides, like I said, did tie to domestic violence. And some of those were people that had salt services, and they ended up back in relationships. And so anyway, I think what we are doing is preventing by enhancing what our deputies know, our victims being able to access supportive services, and by ensuring that temporary protective orders are served at a greater percentage, are successfully served. I think seeing the growth that some of our survivors have, seeing the success stories with the shelter, seeing someone be able to leave shelter and become self-sufficient and really moving on and away from that violence. Those are the things that warm your heart. Seeing a sexual assault victim be able to really regroup, if you will, get past that trauma, maybe successfully testify in a criminal trial. That's so hard, that's so traumatizing. But if we can provide those advocacy services that help them find that strength, because that is part of the process when they want to prosecute, and it's a hard part of the process. I'm old enough that I can look back to a time when victim services were not even really the focus of anyone. Programs like shelters We're not funded. I mean, so we've come so far, and I think my personal goal is to have this agency in the best possible place moving forward to ensure that these services remain available and remain well funded.